Welcome back and welcome to our next session. It's the FitTech Summit FIBO edition and it's called The Winner Takes It All. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm also curious.
Natalia, what is the talk about?
Well, we're going to talk about with two star founders from Germany in the FitTech space about the fitness ecosystem in hardware space and connected hardware space from B2B and B2C perspectives.
All right, let's start.
Let's rock. All right. So guys, it's really cool to have you here.
Pleasure.
At least we now have 50% women's quote, as you would say.
A little bit more.
We did our best. Well, with myself. Yeah, I'm not. I haven't counted myself though.
I'm the minority here.
Yeah, you're kind of the minority. As an exception. True. So, Valerie, let's start with you. I would like you to shortly introduce yourselves. What do you do? Where do you come from? And who are you actually?
I'm Valerie Bures-Bönström, and I'm coming from Berlin, not that far. But yeah, my passion is being the CEO and founder of VAHA, the interactive fitness mirror.
Cool. And before that, you also found a couple of other companies in the fitness space, like Mrs. Sporty.
Yes, exactly. 17 years of running a big club chain was quite a passion too. And then we developed Pixformance out of that, a digital personal trainer. And now it has all come to VAHA.
Okay, that's cool. Welcome, Valerie. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
Hi, Philipp. So you are one of the most funded startups in the FitTech space in Germany. Can you tell us more about which startup you kind of have and where you come from?
For sure, yeah. I'm Philipp. I'm the co-founder and CEO of EGYM. I'm a technology entrepreneur and I used to be an unsuccessful gym goer.
Unsuccessful?
Exactly. And so the reason why I founded EGYM is I wanted to use technology to make the gym work for everyone and not just for expert users. And that's why I founded EGYM.
How much funding did you have so far?
I think it's it's 3-digit.
I guess last round was 100-something million?
No, that's, I would say, the total amount, maybe a little bit more.
Okay, looks nice. Looks like you can do lots of things with this money.
For sure, yeah.
Curious to know more. And let's just jump into it. So guys, you both have, and you are actually here because you both come from the kind of connected hardware space, but I also think that you have completely different perspectives on the space. So you, Valerie, are also way more in this consumer space and making great connected experience for your home. You are trying to make fitness accessible to ordinary gym goers. And maybe we can just start with this question because you have this nice classification of gym goers and you kind of, have a differentiated view on that. So what kind of gym goers do you see out there and how do you want to serve them?
Absolutely, yeah. So the way we look at the gym market is we try to, of course, these are just, super broad ballpark ideas, and there's lots of differentiated user groups within these bigger groups, but we try to basically look into the gym market on 3 different groups. Group number 1, these are expert users. They know exactly how to use the gym. They typically appreciate a gym that is close by, that is large, that is cheap, and 24/7 open, because they really rent equipment from us. Oftentimes our industry thinks that these customers are sexy customers because they look quite sexy, but their willingness to pay typically is very low.
It's not sexy at all.
Yeah. Then on the other end of the spectrum, you have what we call engaged and vanity users.
Vanity users.
Yes. Engaged users are people that don't know how to work out properly, but they're willing to move mountains to be successful. So for example, these people would buy personal training. And then the vanity users are people that maybe go to this very high-end gym, but use it as if they were going to a low-cost gym, because they would just use the same equipment, but they just like to be, be in a premium environment. We summarize these 2 groups as engaged users or vanity users. They are the ones that have the highest willingness to pay.
And percentage-wise, how much percent of all the users are vanity users?
So what we believe is that roughly 10% of gym goers are expert users, and 10% are engaged users or vanity users.
And who is in the middle?
And that's exactly the group that we try to address mainly. And we call them the health seekers, the 80%. these are people that are not expert users, so they really don't know what they're doing on the training floor. But they're also not engaged enough to constantly ask the trainer on the floor how to be more successful. They're also not buying personal training.
So what they're doing?
They kind of get lost on the training floor and churn through. And they are the 80%. And what we are trying to do is provide them with technology so they can be successful without being overly engaged with personal training. But still, you know, we're imagining for them a gym where you walk on the training floor and all the equipment knows them, sets up automatically, and walks them through an ideal workout based on their body and their training goal. And when they exit the gym, they see on their app how their health has been improving, which motivates them to keep going to the gym. And so before there was EGYM, I would argue our industry has forced those 80% into an expert product. They were using exactly the same gym as the expert users, but still no one helped them to be successful. And so for these health seekers, these 80%, we are trying to, you know, imagine a gym that actually works for them.
Interesting. Maybe we could just briefly see the product that you guys are producing.
Sure.
So you address 80% of the gym goers.
Yes.
Valerie, what about yourself? So what's your typical user?
Yeah, I would say we address kind of like, or we look at the gym goers in a different way, and more in a traditional way, where you had these three groups of, let's say, being very, assistance seeking. Those are the people who are, let's say, typically, especially in the US gym, are consuming personal training. Very high assistance seeker, we call them. Then we have that group who kind of like knows, maybe not, so I would say that's the EGYM group, to use the equipment, using the equipment, maybe also free weights, typically running around with a workout plan in their hand, and in the last days with an app. I would say those people, they're trying to do strength training, maybe also mixed with some cardio, but kind of like just trying to figure it out. So I think you're very right on this type. But then there's also a big group of the people who are going to Group X. And I would say those are not typical those people who are looking for a specific goal. So I would say you're probably not addressing them in the 80%. Those people are more, we call them active socialists.
Socialists?
It's nothing political, but they are active, they want to just move, but they are at the same time, for them, fitness is a lifestyle. And they want to be social, therefore socialist. So they wouldn't necessarily move alone, they don't want to accomplish one goal by themselves. For them it's more, hey, I go and meet other people, I actually like to have this role model of an instructor in front of me, and I really like to enjoy the music. So these are the three groups I'm seeing going to a typical gym.
And what's your target audience?
Exactly, and we target them, but at home.
all three of them?
All three of them, because I do think also in one family, in one household, you have these three groups. There's maybe the husband who kind of like spends 90% on the desk and wants to have a personal trainer helping with the problem in the back. This is a typical user of us who consumes online digital personal trainer. Very easy, you can book it over the app. You just have your personal trainer as a whole person standing in your living room, helping you right away.
So we have active socialists, we have health seekers. For me, that sounds like a real sinus milieu, if you know the notion for market segmentation. So we kind of need a new classification of gym goers actually here.
I mean, you know, you can always slice and dice the industry in a different way, and that's also the exciting thing about our industry, because everyone can relate to fitness. I mean, I guess we all, the three of us, agreed that everyone should be doing fitness, right? And many people have different ambition level, a different engagement level, different expertise. So, for example, to my categorization, what I would say is Peloton, for example, they address engaged users. However, Swift is addressing expert users.
Yeah,
the Swift
that's also
users.
the way I said,
The Swift users are looking down on the Peloton users, because they wouldn't need these person, exciting them for pushing hard. They rather want to focus on their metrics and do the Tour de France and so on and so on.
And Swift is also going into the hardware space now with this $500 million investment.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're actually a sibling company to ours because we share the same investor.
Oh, interesting. So you know the inside story.
I
So
don't
tell
know.
us more.
No,
What's Swift up
there's
to?
nothing I can share about it other than what I know is that this company is doing extremely well. And, you know, in my view, you should always ask yourself how to provide a great solution. And there are, you know, things in life that you can completely only cover with software. However, the truth about fitness is that at the end of the day, you still have to move your offline body. And
That's sad, actually. I would prefer not to move it.
Yeah, right. The pill that makes you fit doesn't exist. And so to create an amazing experience, it is oftentimes, with regard to fitness, you know, the combination of software and hardware. Because at the end of the day, your body has to move.
Yeah, so you have the great B2C product that you're working on. We have great B2B products. Are you actually competitors?
I wouldn't say that.
You would not say not. So
No,
you say
I would
yes.
say no. I would say no. It's not a competition, because I mean, it's like I think here Schalle said that very nicely. Only because people kind of like have restaurants, they still eat at home, and the other way around.
Yeah.
So I do think, let's say, it was a shame for the fitness industry that we didn't have any innovation for more than. I mean, when I started it in the fitness industry, there was no innovation.
20
really.
years ago?
Yeah, exactly. 20 years ago. I hope I don't look
I
like
will not ask
that.
about your age.
Yeah. Okay. However, yeah, let's not talk about age. But it's, I think it's great that we have so much innovation in the space, and innovation means targeting user needs, and that's I think what we need. So I wouldn't say that we're competition, but there's definitely inspiration from each other. Yeah.
So that's a very interesting point. So do you think that a typical VAHA user will have a VAHA membership and then go to the gym, go to the EGYM machines and also train on them with completely different user experience?
I could imagine that we don't have one solution forever. So I would imagine that, or no, I know that fitness users become educated and go through phases. And in the phases of their life, I would say they will probably consume different fitness solutions. We at VAHA, we don't only want to be a fitness solution. So therefore, I would even say, I could even imagine that someone is happily using his or her VAHA.
You don't want to be a fitness solution?
Only, yes.
Only fitness solution. So
Yes.
what do you want to be?
We want to be the fireplace in your living room.
Tell us more. Now I'm intrigued.
No, I do think that, I mean, when we're looking at the big players in the market, I mean, like Apple, for example, making able to do a call on your iPhone is still a substantial function. So fitness will still be the core of our business. But I do think the main interaction of a device at home, your fireplace, will be social interaction. For example, my daughter is using the VAHA to do her guitar lesson on Zoom with her teacher. And I do think there's so much still to open up, that fitness is a very needed base functionality, but it's not only everything for VAHA.
Okay, maybe we'll just briefly show the picture of VAHA. But the question is, are you building a big iPhone?
iPhone would classify it to the iPhone, so no. But we building the fireplace for your home, meaning that you can do much more on it, yes.
Interesting.
Maybe some stats around the question, will home fitness consumers also use the gym or not? There was this study from LEK, this consulting firm, and they asked people that just bought a home fitness subscription what impact that would have on their potential gym membership. And 72% actually stated that since they have a home fitness subscription, they're also more likely to go to the gym.
Oh, really?
And so,
Okay.
you know, because fitness relates to everyone, we always have friends that now decided to only have home fitness and quit the gym, but then we have 10 other friends that just joined the gym. But I do think in general, you know, the gym provides a social environment. It provides a lot of guidance and support for those health seekers to be successful. Expert users actually just don't need so much things to be successful, but the health seekers surely do. And when they're then engaged users, they could be, for example, thinking, you know what, I don't attend any more spinning in the gym, and I buy my Peloton at home, but I still do all the strength training and everything else in the gym. And that's always the example that I like to tell is when you go, when you think that people that used to go to the gym would now do spinning at home on Peloton. When you walk on a training floor in the gym, there's so many things. And now all these people would only focus on spinning. That's kind of, to me, not very understandable why you would come up with that. And my analogy I'm always telling is, try to pitch to a basketball player that now that you can play table tennis at home, he can skip basketball and just does table tennis.
Okay, that's a nice one.
I do think that he would still prefer going out on the court. And
so VAHA is table tennis and you're playing basketball. That doesn't sound really complimentary.
I don't think it's really not a competition. I do think the more we think the broader fitness experience and upgrade the experience, we are not any longer talking about this embarrassing 14% of participation of the population. When you think about that, everyone should be doing it. I mean, what are we doing?
So you think that gyms, like traditional gyms with connected hardware, and home fitness company can definitely survive side by side and hopefully even thrive?
Exactly, I would say even thrive, even that. Yeah. And I think that's also, I mean, adding to your statistics, even though I think in the future you use VAHA as an example. But
it was fitness subscriptions for your home.
No, but I do believe that this is not even news we have to prove in studies, but when we're looking at the spend of people in home equipment, it's massive. I mean, even before the times of VAHA or other players in the market. So, I mean, the spend is between 500 to 1,000 euros per year on home fitness equipment of a normal German person. I mean,
you mean
on
equipment
average.
like kettlebells, like normal stuff?
Yeah, or yoga mats or whatever. And even, I mean, we all know the times of Kettler bikes at home. So this is nothing which is a trend. I mean, it seems to be a trend now, but it's not really a trend. It's just an new interpretation.
And the interesting thing what I find here is, you're absolutely right. I'm not even sure, like, okay, for sure the lockdown has created some peak here, but I wouldn't even say that, like, when you look at all the people that right now do home fitness, that it's so much more than in the past. What is really different, as we all know, Kettler has been around for a long time. I mean, the interesting thing is that in the moment where companies like VAHA or Peloton are growing fast and charging high fees, Kettler is actually filing bankruptcy. And so what we can learn also in the gyms business is, if you provide an incredible personalized user experience, all of a sudden you can charge 10x. Because that's really what happened when you just compare now Kettler and Peloton. Peloton is like at least 10 times more expensive and is growing, it's doubling revenues in the year when Kettler files bankruptcy. Yeah,
I was just visiting the bike store with some Kettlers still standing there, and I felt like in the 20th century or 19th century, actually. They kind of were dusty, I would even say.
Yeah, but I do also think, I mean, to the price point, I must say, I think that the way of thinking about it, it's not like anymore, and I think that's also the difference. In Kettler, really, you thought like, okay, I pay, I don't know what bike costs, but 600 euros or something, or 700. At least the treadmills, they cost up to 1,000. So you're thinking then about, okay, I'm spending the 1,000 euros for that hardware piece, and it's probably just catching the dust at home. But here we're talking about the new generation, which is basically a monthly subscription. So, I mean, a VAHA costs you around 100 euros a month. That's exactly like a gym membership. And you expect there to get something which feels like a gym membership. And I do think this is an evolution the whole space sees now. And that's exactly why companies like Kettler go out of business, because the business model changed and the way of looking at it changed too. But in the end of the day, the spend is the same thing. It has, I mean, people have spent exactly the same thing, I mean, 10 years or 20 years or 30 years ago than they do today.
But the budgets are shifting.
I wouldn't even, I mean, when I'm looking just statistically, not, because obviously, I mean, they're just changing for something else.
From one product to the other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think when you look at bikes, I think it's just Peloton. Indeed, when you compare apples with apples, you have to see that Kettler, let's say one bike costs 1,000. We both don't know. I would almost argue maybe it was even 500, but I don't know.
I don't have Wi-Fi. I would have looked it up.
But I know that Peloton bikes rather cost like 3,000. But then on top of that, they don't work if you also have a $40 subscription. So it's like massively more expensive.
Yeah, but if you calculate it into the rate payments, which we all use in this business segment,
but if
then that's around 100 euros.
But you would.
So 100 euros including rates, without upfront
membership,
hardware costs.
including the financing of the device.
What does the bike cost if I just buy it upfront?
2,200.
Oh, Miro.
The
Sorry,
VAHA,
I was just thinking about Peloton.
The VAHA
I was thinking about
costs
Peloton.
2,200.
Okay.
And you have a 39 euro membership, and overall, if you finance it, you are around 100 euros. And that's a totally different mindset. And it's very comparable to gym membership as well.
And that's exactly my question. Will people pay for both if it's so comparable?
I would say that depends totally on your phase of living. If you're coming into the phase where you seek really personal connection, let's say you're becoming 55, your kids are out of home, you have a lot of time, you may be about to stop your work, then you might go to the gym to just see some people get
to
out.
socialize,
Yeah. If you are a super performant dad or mom like me, you are working 12 hours, you have 3 kids, 3 horses, I like surfing, then for me, fitness is a necessity. I'm doing half an hour in the morning with my VAHA. Mm-hmm. So it depends on your life phase and also your fitness journey, for sure.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What's your business model? How do you do this?
We are the global market leader for cloud solutions for gyms. We have 15% of American gyms and 15% of German gyms using, for example, our branded member app, as we call it, that then speaks to 110 partners within the fitness industry, like Live Fitness, Brick, or Matrix.
How does this work? So how can you imagine this?
So, for example, when you download now the Fitness First app in Germany, this app allows you to have the full control of your entire gym experience, to find your workout plans, but it also automatically pulls the workout data from the different exercise machines, from the different brands. You see stats about how you're performing. When you step on the body fat scale, you see that right in your Fitness First app and so on. So that's one part of our business.
So it's aggregating the whole member data in one app. Okay.
Second part of our business is we look on the training floor and check out where we cannot digitize the inexperience because it's just mechanical. And that's, for example, our smart strength machines. In the meantime, I have also smart flex machines, like smart yoga machines, where we also, envision this gym experience where you walk on the training floor and the equipment knows you. We do this with cardio machines from our partners, and we do it with our own smart strength machines. And as we target those health seekers and make them truly successful and can prove it, we also sell corporations subscriptions so that their employees can access those professionally managed training floors with all the great EGYM experience where they can then be successful and their employees have less sick days. So we have 3 different revenue streams.
Okay, that sounds like a very diversified business to me.
It is different revenue streams centering around the same problem, and that is making the gym work for everyone and not only the expert user and the engaged user.
Valerie, how about yourself? So you have the direct-to-consumer business model. It's the subscription and upfront costs for hardware, or hardware cost included in the subscription. What are the revenue streams, or maybe future revenue streams, are you going to have? Do you want to have any, or do you want just to focus?
Well, I think focus is good. So I do think that's the business model. But obviously, we do offer personal training experience live on VAHA. So you can pay a little bit more for a higher amount of personal sessions with your personal trainer.
What do you pay and how does this work?
You basically pay per half an hour, and you can book as many personal training sessions as you want, and you will have exactly the same experience as if you would book a personal trainer in the gym. We also do have our newest functionality where you are getting an individual workout plus motion tracking. So if you do your workout in front of VAHA, you're actually tracked and you get feedback how well you're moving and how you're progressing.
Through motion tracking, computer vision, or?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is included in the base membership, but we do think with that technology we will be also able to add some more fancy stuff, like you can also test your newest clothes at Zalando and buy the best fitting piece. So I think there will be a lot of other applications possible from that technology. And we are offering our live classes where you can either consume content from VAHA, or you could also work with one of our partners. We're launching soon some bigger partner content providers who you then can pay for extra if you want to.
You know, Amazon Halo introduced the 3D body scanning through the camera. Is this something that you're also looking for?
I think whenever you launch technology, it needs to be really need-driven. So if this makes, or let's say, if any technology makes the training experience into something more worth, then I would say yes. If it's just the technology which sounds fancy, I would say better not.
So this sounds too fancy to you?
I think, let's say, the bigger you are as a company, the more chances you can have to just bring out great technologies and see what happens with that. So let's see what comes out of it. I think nobody will actually be able to decide today what happens with future technologies.
I mean, trying out Zalando clothes in front of the camera and screen is kind of obvious. So you need a 3D body model, and ideally you can just order clothes that are a good fit.
Absolutely, but I think there's so much vision computation out. You don't need to have a 3D model screening in order to achieve that. So technically, we're already there. We don't need that for it.
Let's talk about content. But you want to say something?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, this is actually something really exciting when you think about how Apple is entering the fitness space, how Amazon is entering the fitness space. The reason why they're entering this space is they have to think, okay, how can I add 30 billion in revenue, you know, to keep showing high growth numbers in the long run.
I think they're just doing that for charity.
Yeah. So, but you know, the reason why they enter fitness is because they know that this has a huge impact on health, and for them, basically, really, health from a lifestyle-oriented point of view and less surgery and medicine is basically, you know, one of their next frontiers, and so it's really exciting that they are actually joining, and you know, our company really also stands for health-oriented workouts versus aesthetics-oriented workouts, and and there's interesting also dynamics in our industry. So what I see is that boutiques have always been driving trends into the big box gyms. So for example, we had first the yoga studios, and then once they became really successful, all the gyms also bundled into their offering yoga. Then we had, for example, CrossFit boxes. All of a sudden you found all the CrossFit places also inside the gym.
That's so true. We just had a panel with Christophe Colonnet from LifeFit Group, Fitness First as one of the brands, but also Barry's Bootcamp as the brand. They're opening the first studio in November in Frankfurt, actually. I'm going to be there.
Good.
So and he says it would have been way easier for him if they were way more specialized with Fitness First. Because when you're specialized, it's way easier to talk to customers.
That's right. Just like these big boxes, they somehow need to still also address, typically to cover the costs, a big audience. And that's why they always add new stuff to their bundle. And the last point is basically, then you found, you know, for example, Orange Theory growing in 7 years from 0 to 1,000 facilities. And all of a sudden, all the US gyms wanted to have heart rate-based workouts. And so over the past 10 years, I only saw boutiques focusing on performance athletics and on mindfulness. And now all of a sudden I'm seeing, you know, boutique concepts focusing on health-oriented workouts, mushrooming. And so it's really an exciting time. Apple and Amazon joined this industry for having an impact on health.
And Google as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And the boutiques are also now driving the trend. And that will mean that our entire industry will focus much more on health-oriented workouts. And even from our user stats, post-lockdown, we can see some really interesting developments.
Let's decipher these health-oriented workouts. What does this mean exactly?
So the way we look at this is, you know, in the past, our industry was known for weight loss and muscle building, which is two aesthetics-oriented statements. What we are doing is when people work out, we take measures of their body, compare it to their peer group, and then express...
Measures like what?
For example, their maximum strength, their body fat, their VO2 max. And then we match that with their peer group in our database and express how they're performing with the so-called bioage. And so they work out, and as they work out, they get younger. And this is really health-oriented workouts, right? So maybe you don't tackle this one aesthetic piece of your body that you always wanted to tackle.
But your body systems are working better.
But you will live longer and better.
Let's talk about content, because I think this is a very vital topic to what you guys are doing. So how important is content to your businesses? Where does it come from? How you can monetize that?
In our view, we are a platform, and we deliver content from all our partners. Some of our gyms are creating their own content. Then we have pure content providers that want to complement the offering of gyms. We all have it on our platform, and our bosses, our gym operators, they can decide what they want.
And what kind of content is that?
It's typically video content.
How to do specific exercises.
Exactly. I mean, so there's one piece of content actually that we create.
Which one?
And that is setting parameters for certain training goals. What is the ideal workout plan? Natalia, if you provide us with your training goal, and then we do some assessments, and based on your training goal and your body assessments and everything we know about your body.
My goal is to come to training again.
Well, get a VAHA. Then you don't have to come.
I've been waiting for it for 3 months. Where is it?
Yeah, we send you one, then you don't have to go. You just have it directly.
Yeah. No, but basically then to make sure that you have a high-end workout that is guaranteed safe and guarantees success if you just keep pushing. This kind of content is developed by our own, but like video content and other things, we are rather the platform and provide whatever our bosses want for their members.
And your gyms are your bosses.
Exactly.
That's a very nice attitude. I think some gyms are really happy to hear that right now.
Well, good.
Valerie, how about yourself? You do lots of content. You create content yourself. You work with content providers. You provide a window to live streaming sessions, to live content. Tell us more about your concept.
Yeah, I think, content is very broad with the possibilities. So basically, I started my journey with Pixformance. So there, the content was kind of like recorded exercises, which you can put into an individual workout, which is great, especially for physiotherapy, because Pixformance is today used in the biggest hospital chains of Europe. And there, the important is that you actually can customize the content towards the need of the customer. And we added then the motion tracking on top of that, so that this content also comes alive, meaning that you not only consume it, but you're actually interacting with it, right?
Through live feedback, like in real time?
Yes.
Which sounds like your back is not straight.
Exactly,
right?
or you're seeing the pattern of how a person moves, and then you not only have to do that visual check, but you also get help by saying like, look, your knees, be careful, don't straighten them, or, just anything a personal trainer would say too, but just digital.
That's so interesting because, I have a fitness trainer license, and one of the things that we learned there was most people just do react to physical touch best of all. Because you can tell them to do something differently, they just don't understand that because they don't have this mental model of how to do the exercise right. So auditory feedback is not always successful. How do you tackle this?
By not only giving auditory feedback, but combining it actually with the visual experience. So I think that learned model of seeing yourself in the mirror, which we do in Pixformance with a video and in VAHA actually with the mirror, is actually the biggest component of correcting yourself, but then at the same time having it, coming it through the ears. I think it's like a double channel experience where you add your visual with what you hear, and then it becomes one complete experience. Yeah. So this kind of content is kind of like used to customize it. Then we do have content which is on demand, where we have recorded classes.
And you record them yourselves?
yeah, we actually, all our live classes, around 50 per week, are then recorded in going into our library.
And live classes take place in your physical location in Berlin?
In the studio.
In the
We
studio?
have our
You
own studio, and where we have our own instructors, and doing actually streaming 50 live classes per week. So
Wow.
it's quite big. And then they all go into the library. So we have a huge library.
How many videos?
I don't know. I don't know, several hundreds. And we even have to delete irregularly, because otherwise the library would be too big. With 50 adding every week, it's quite huge. And then we do also have that live experience of a personal trainer, which I also would count to content, because also the experience of a live personal trainer in your room is content.
And he sees the person he is training.
Yes, and being able to speak. So it's like a Zoom session.
It's like a portal, right? So
It's like a portal, yeah. So I would add to that. And then also, of course, we do have our apps, and we also allow you to go on YouTube and consume content there. So it's basically depending on what you want to consume, how it should be customized to your needs, and in which way you want to customize it.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So one thing is content consumption. I want to have access to this, all kinds of content libraries, content customized to my needs, direct access to the personal trainer in live sessions. How about progress tracking? Because I think, as long as you don't know where you want to go and where you stand right now, you're kind of in the dark. How do you do this?
Yeah, it's the biggest challenge of the fitness industry that we call it, you don't have an immediate ROI, right? So you work out today, after 20 years of inactivity, you work out today for the first time.
But that's only because you don't have motion tracking. If you have motion tracking, you know exactly what happened.
Do you have motion tracking?
Yeah. We actually now have also motion tracking, but what I wanted to say is the point for you is typically most users, for example, they work out for the first time, and then they want to receive a compliment in the street, or they want to see a huge difference on the scale, or they want to have gotten rid of their back pain. But after one session, all these things will not happen. And that's why we collect data.
But if you would tell them, well done.
Exactly. So, well, I do think we need to be a bit more particular than just well done. And the way we do that, and motion tracking could be one option.
Sorry, somebody's a real fan of motion tracking.
No,
here.
but this is the biggest, I think, accomplishment of the fitness industry, that we're able actually not only to collect the data, but we can actually really see how the quality of your movement is. And that's what people are doing since hundreds of years.
That's pretty awesome, actually, because usually you just have personal trainer who is able to do that. So will we need personal trainers actually in the future at all?
So for the engaged users, yes, but motion tracking has absolutely, for a lot of reasons, a right for existence. Indeed, did I do a good quality of workout? But for example, also you can do some functional movement screenings through that technology and see how you have been improving. But basically what I wanted to say is we can collect all kind of data and then try to make it actionable and understandable that this was a good thing. And we have different dashboard, different KPIs, how we show users how they have been improving. But for sure, at least in our apps, the by far most watched feature is the BioAge. How I, take all the data you know about me, and then tell me whether I have been improving.
Because people love to compete, also against themselves.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's much less actionable for them if they know, I have 1% less body fat. I have moved 50,000 pounds. That's not what does it mean? And so we try to make sense out of the data for the users, and especially for our health seekers, not just for the expert users or the extremely engaged users, but just for everyday Joe. I work out and I want to understand whether I've been improving.
So BioAge is their most important KPI, right?
Yes.
Can I jump in here?
You should.
Because I think it's very interesting. There are two types of motivation and, let's say, benefit of a workout. You can have that external motivation, or you can have that internal motivation. And I think this is kind of like an external feedback. Hey, you have become younger, so to say. That's what the number tells you. And you're going to be proud of, hey, someone actually told me I become younger. I achieved that. But I do think there's another part to motivation, or let's say feeling good about your workout. And there, I do think we have to think about the target groups. I think those people who are seeking for a goal, who are going into your machines and are seeking for the external feedback, hey, you have done a good job in terms of bio age.
You have progression.
Exactly, you have progression. That's one group.
Yeah.
But we also do have those people who are going to classes, who are going for entertainment, who are going for music, or for...
Enter-training is the word of the year.
Yes, and who are going for the experience. Yeah. And the question is, what is the measure of the experience? And I've actually, in my 20 years of fitness experience, I've been always seeking if you can quantify that. And there is actually a model which is called flow. Yeah? And it is a scientific model, so it was not my idea, but it was never used in the fitness context.
But that's actually the basis for the VAHA is the name, right?
Yes.
Just tell us in a brief remark, because, so that everybody knows what does it mean.
Okay, so actually I was looking for what does our member really take from a workout if it's not progression or that positive feedback. Yeah. And the main thing is this happiness, the smile when you go out and you have done your workout. And this is internal feeling. Nobody can give that.
You can't quantify it.
Yeah, and you can't get that from the outside. And I was always thinking, can I find an answer? Where does this come from? How can we produce that? Can we reproduce that? I was really seeking for that. And then I found through my studies the model of flow. And the model of flow says basically, if you challenge your experience, is big enough that you can still reach it, but not too big that you won't reach it.
So it's the same as state of flow when speaking about productivity, this curve which goes like, this is your upper border, this is your lower border, and your experience is somewhere in between.
Exactly.
Okay.
This is the sweet spot of challenge, as I call it. And if you are in that sweet spot of challenge, then this is just, human, you produce this feeling of flow and of happiness. And this is funny because in the US, the flow method, and we just had a very good a session with Stephen Kotler. He's like the driver, so to say, of the flow, also in other contexts than fitness. If you use that really to understand how people feel after they moved or have done fitness, you, I think, get another perspective on movement and this experience. And that's why I said, like, hey, I want to call VAHA flow, in
That's
Punjabi.
Sanskrit or Punjabi, for flow.
Exactly. Because we really would like to provide that sweet spot of challenge to our customers at home. And therefore, I feel, yes, there are quite some people who really want to know what's my body age afterwards, and they're going to be motivated by that. But there's also tons of people who are just motivated by that feeling. I go out, I feel I will have been in flow, and flow means that this was my source of energy today, and they go out, they feel good.
They have to crave this experience.
Yes.
Actually, I want to make like experience addicts, flow addicts. That's
Absolutely.
what you want to produce.
That's my business model. I
Now we know
create
it.
flow addicts, absolutely.
But how can you quantify flow?
It's actually not so difficult because there's one model which we have been using in the fitness industry for ages. It's called the RPE scala. And you actually...
RPE scala?
Yes.
E like E.
Yeah, RPE, in English, RPE.
Okay, how do you translate that?
It's like 10 points and you actually rate how much was your perceived difficulty level. And it's funny because that can describe even your body state better than when you measure your heart rate. It's scientifically proven.
Interesting.
Yes. And if you are, let's say, rating in a special stage of that scale, then you're in the perfect challenge mode, and the probability for feeling that flow is then especially high.
At the scale of 1 to 10, what's the range of flow?
It's around 8.
8.
Yeah, so it's not too heavy, but it's also not too light. You should really have the feeling that you have done something.
Sounds reasonable. And this is something that users have to rate after the session?
Not have to, but we encourage them highly to get a feeling for their flow state. And by getting a feeling for their flow state, we can also improve their workouts because we know then what have they done, how have they moved, how often have they done it, and we can actually improve their workouts by testing their flow state.
Okay, Philipp, how do you respond to this?
Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely right? As I said before, there is definitely also a space for group X. When you walk on the gym floor, you find people that do group X. On the flow, I actually also, we try also to bring people into the flow, just basically more coming from only what is measured gets done, only what is measured is actionable. And so the users have to, for example, do an assessment. And we almost do this in the background. They don't much realize that we do an assessment every 6 sessions. But during the assessment, they go really hard because they want to be younger. But as they
it's cheating.
But as they go hard on the assessment, we will also increase the intensity.
Okay.
But still on a level that they can still cope with. And so they're constantly basically progressing, and success motivates. And success also, by the way, creates a great, beautiful, good feeling, and will be a source of energy.
I don't think it's only in live classes. I think you can have absolutely exactly the same stage on an EGYM equipment than on a functional training in the live class. I actually have my biggest flow state moments when I'm on my horse or when I'm surfing.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's bad, because I do think it doesn't matter how you get into the float state, but it's really important that you are regularly. Because, I mean, it's even proven that your waves in your head, I don't want to go too deep into that, but are, let's say, more neutral when you have these flow states.
Yeah, from
a
neuroscience perspective, it's definitely something we need more to have, because the attention span has been so short right now. I guess the attention span of an average person these days is shorter than that of a goldfish. So less people can focus less than just a fish swimming somewhere, which is, I think, is really tragic. So getting to the state of flow is something we definitely need for not just for being fit, but also for work.
Yes.
Yeah, and by the way, also sports science tells us, right, if you don't reach a certain intensity level, you have also no progression. But also on the attention, it's quite interesting. In early days, we had, you would swipe your RFID tag and then the equipment sets up, and we had on the screen a notification, please wait until the machine is setting up. And there were so many people that started already trying to do something while it said so big in front of them.
Is that a bad usability or just stupidity?
That's the point I wanted to mention, and that is, when people work out, they're just not in the mindset of reading something. They just want to, stop thinking and really, just enjoy the workout, embrace the workout.
Okay, so bad usability.
Exactly. We had to think about how can we make sure that they don't need to read it. It will still be fine.
Interesting. So
we have exactly the same, funny enough. When you go to a Pixformance in a fitness gym or in a hospital, we always told them to hold the QR code here, stick it to your t-shirt, because then they just go and enable the machine, because otherwise they would go like this and it doesn't work. It's really funny.
Okay, so user experience is king.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the data side of things. So you guys are working with lots of data, obviously. You collect lots of data, you have lots of experience with that. Who do you share this data with? Do you want to create proprietary platforms where, and this is actually the word I cannot pronounce, proprietary platforms, that's a better one, where you own the data, so to speak, and you decide what happens with that? Or are you more into the open APIs and data sharing with respective system players like doctors or personal trainers who are not part of your system, for example? So how do you tackle this issue?
Yeah, I don't think that there's any company in the world of fitness that has more connected partnerships than us. We have 110 partners, some of the largest fitness companies in the world, where we even sometimes develop software, sometimes just we integrate it. We believe that you need to provide a total fitness experience, and it shouldn't be all these different silos. And I don't think there will be a space in the future for silo-oriented fitness companies, at least not with regard to the majority of the users. What we do with the data is just creating better products with regard to trainer enablement, user motivation, better products, and so on and so on. And one great data point I can share with you right now is, during the lockdown, we've on all our partner cardio machines and smart strength machines from us, every user has picked a training goal. And in the past, these training goals have been muscle building and weight loss and so on. And during the lockdown, we've developed a new training goal called Immune Fit. Immune Fit, where we help people to push their immune system, but at the same time stop intensity at the moment when it would be too high, so they don't end up in the immunosuppression where you can be more likely be infected.
With the open window effect and things like that after the training, okay.
And post-lockdown, 31% of our users press now that training goal. And that's pretty remarkable all of a sudden, from all these aesthetics-oriented workout goals to health-oriented workout goals. And that's, for me, a really motivational data point that we now also share with the industry. And that's one part what we do with, like in an aggregated level, share with the industry. For example, we share also with the gym industry data that the rebound of the gyms is actually going superb post-lockdown. There's just a hole in our P&L from the 3 months where we couldn't sell.
A big hole, I guess.
Yeah, but the rebound, like the new membership sales in Germany in an aggregated level, are on a week-to-week comparison to better than 2019 since the lockdown.
Okay, thank you. Valerie, one sentence with your approach to data, please.
He's talking so much in extremes, it's hard to be
That's because he's in minority.
That's true. No, I mean, I would say, talking about extremes, we have the biggest amount of data on movement. Nobody has millions of data of how people actually do fitness movements. And how do we use it? I would say we are actually very customer oriented. So, I mean, with some chains of hospitals we're working with, we don't even see the data. Really, I mean, we do have it in an anonymous way, but we are very much customer focused here. And there's big data law. So therefore, I would say it depends very much on the customization of who is your customer. And when we're talking about end consumer data, I would say we only would want to use it to make the experience better. That's what we're doing with the data.
We just have a couple of minutes left. I want to have kind of blitz interview now with you. First question, your forecast for the gym industry for the next 3 years. One sentence. I know it's hard.
It's really hard.
Okay, 1.5 sentences.
It definitely will be the most innovative century of fitness industry.
Yay. Philipp.
Yes, the gym industry has been growing every year by 5% independently of the economic cycle. And that was due to the health awareness. I do think there will be a way more increase in health awareness due to coronavirus. And therefore, I'm extremely excited about the next 3 years. Today is very challenging because we have this hole in our P&L from the time of the lockdown. But moving forward, it's really exciting to be in this industry, at home and in the gym.
Will this increased health awareness lead to more founding companies founded in the FitTech space?
Absolutely, because technology can help people to consume fitness so much better.
Valerie, what should the government do to help increase the number of FitTech companies in this space? If you compare that to the States, lots of US companies go into the market. In Germany, we just hear about yourself, actually, who just founded recently something in home fitness. So what should we do to increase the number and to increase the quality, to increase the financing?
My heart is still going with the fitness industry, so I would say they should definitely reduce the VAT on all fitness products.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
To how many percent points?
I don't know, 7 or something, right?
Yeah. I mean, we see that, for example, states like California do that.
Yeah.
We see in Spain lots of cities actually providing gym operators with free property, so that you have in Barcelona like 27% of the population going to the gym. And let's face it, more than 50% of the healthcare spend is on chronic conditions. Yeah. And there's no industry in the world that can tackle chronic conditions better than doing fitness. Whether it's at home or in the gym or outside, whatever, people should do fitness.
Perfect. I think that's a perfect closing remark. So thank you so much, guys, for being here. That was a really fun discussion. Dear audience, I hope you enjoyed that as well. Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll have the talk on regeneration. I hope you enjoy the 2 days of FitTech Summit FIBO edition and FIBO in general, and hope to see you soon. So thank you guys.
Thank
It was
you very
great to
much.
have you with us. Thank you.
Pleasure.